What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hammerstein, and today we'll be doing a speed, RAM, temperature, Geekbench and a 3DMark test over here between two very powerful phones. In the first corner here we have the POCO F4 GT and it's going up against the Realme GT2 Pro. Both of these two phones do have the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. Both of them do have 12 gigs of RAM. Before we do anything, let's check out the temperature we are in. It is at about 27 degrees, and in the phone wise 34.4. Here 34.8, so pretty similar on both of these two phones. Let's just boot these two phones up and see which one would start up faster. And also just to let you guys know, both of these two phones have been charged up to 100% as we start this test. And we're going to see as well with the battery whether it can hold up against each other. Okay, so looks like the Realme GT is already done. Let's check out the calendar, which will take some time. POCO F4 GT looks like it's almost done. GT2 Pro already done, already all set up, ready to go. Whereas on the device here, POCO F4 GT does take some time. And finally, we are done. Okay, let's give it some time for the calendar. Yeah, ready all to go. Okay, and of course, these apps are all have been closed on both of these two phones. And for the display settings, both of them have been maxed out in terms of the brightness, and both of them are running in at 120 Hz. In terms of connection, only the Wi-Fi and the location is on both of these two phones. Both of them are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. So these are the apps that we are going to test out. So before we do anything, let's check out the temperatures right now. 35.4, and on the POCO F4 35.5, so very similar indeed. So all right, let's test out this 1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay, looks like the F4 GT just slightly edges out the GT2 Pro, going on to another app, Pokemon Go. Okay, looks like the F4 GT is having a slight lead over here, and it's done just slightly over the GT2 Pro. Next up, YouTube. Okay, pretty much the same on both phones. Instagram. Okay, I think about the same. Maybe the GT2 Pro is just slightly ahead. Let's go on a huge app here, PUBG Mobile. A bit of some stutter on the GT2 Pro. Let's see if we can catch up. Okay, so very close battle indeed on both phones. Both of them performing really well and fast. Let's close up this and let's check out the temperatures. 35.8, 36.1, so a little bit warmer on the F4 GT. Chrome, okay, about the same. Next up, Facebook. Okay, yeah, or about the same. Shopee, okay, on the GT2 Pro. YouTube Music. Okay, and then let's go on to settings. Okay, about the same. Now let's go to Manchester United. Okay, about the same. Very disappointing result. Premier League. Okay, about the same as well. Netflix. Okay, I think on the F4 camera app. Okay, looks like about the same. Let's go to switching it up. Okay, looks like the F4 switches a little bit faster. Let's go to TikTok. Okay, about the same here. And then let's go to Twitter. Okay, GT2 Pro does take some time. Go to Play Store. Okay, and then that's it. So let's check out the temperatures right now. 36 degrees, and on the F4 GT, 36.2. So pretty similar indeed. Let's do a RAM test. Let's go to Genshin Impact. Okay, both of them holding up very well. 12 gigs of RAM. Pokemon Go, no refreshes. Instagram, okay, and then Facebook. Okay, let's go to Twitter. All holding up very well. PUBG Mobile, again, very awesome on both phones. Let's go to the Play Store. So as we can see, RAM on both of these two phones, really good. 12 gigs of RAM on both of these two phones. Alright, so now we're going to do a GPU test on both of these two phones, and both of them I'm going to export this into 4K at 30 FPS. So 1, 2, 3, let's go and see which one would come out on top. Looks like it's pretty neck and neck on both of these two phones. F4 GT having just a very slight lead. Let's see if it can sustain. Okay, it looks like the F4 GT would be ahead, just very slightly ahead, and it's done with the Realme GT2 Pro just right behind it. Okay, so we're going to do some benchmark tests on both these two phones. So before I do that, let's check out the temperatures. 36.4, and on the F4 GT, 36.3, so very similar indeed. The first test that we're going to test out is the Geekbench test, and do keep in mind that the battery on the F4 GT is at 100%, whereas on the GT2 Pro at 98%. So 1, 2, 3, let's go, and I'll see you guys at the end when we do get the results. Okay, so we are done. The POCO F4 GT is the first to finish with a nice score over here, single core 1002 with a multi-core score 3004, whereas on the GT2 Pro, in terms of single core score, very similar indeed, but the multi-core score definitely does drop a little bit over here. Next thing that we want to do before we go check out the history is to run this compute test, and again, I'll see you guys at the end when we do get the results. Okay, so we are done, and the GT2 Pro was just slightly ahead, and in terms of the scores, you can see here that it did bounce back, 6,000 score here compared to the 5,008, and if we check out the history, we can see in terms of the CPU test, this is the score I usually will get, 1002, over here as well, about 1002, so it's pretty similar, but the multi-core score, definitely the POCO F4 GT does perform better. Maybe with that cooling tech, it definitely gives a huge boost over here when it comes to multi-core performance. And if you go to the compute test as well, pretty consistent, about 5,008, whereas on the GT2 Pro, that's giving me about 6,000. And before we go any further, let's check out the temperatures among these two phones. 38.4, and on the F4 GT, 37.5. So definitely better temperature management on the F4 GT. Alright, so we're going to do our last test here, and before we start anything, let's check out the temperatures. 36 degrees, here 35.8, and let's just get these two phones all set up. So we're going to run the 3DMark test over here. So the first thing that we're going to do is the wildlife test. And just keep in mind again, battery here 100%, here 95%. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And I'll see you guys at the end again when we do get the results. Okay, so we are done, and here we have the nice scores, 9,005 up against 9,002. In terms of the refresh rate, 57 against 55.5, which to be honest isn't much of a difference. Temperature wise, 36.3, and on the F4 GT, 36.3, so very similar indeed. These are the stuff that you're gonna notice, so you guys can screenshot this if you guys want. Let's go on to the next thing here, which is the SLINGSHOT test. So again, I'll see you guys at the end when we do get the results. So 1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay, so we are done, and not surprising that both of these two phones did give a maxed out score. Temperature wise, it's very warm, 29 degrees, and on the F4 GT, 40 degrees. And if you look at the FPS over here, definitely better on the F4 GT, 87, but for the test 2, the GT2 Pro came out better. But if we look at the other scores, it's pretty neck and neck, but I would say the F4 GT does give you better frame rate compared to the Realme GT2 Pro. So if you guys did find this video helpful and also did enjoy this, do click the like and smash the subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my social as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube at Dr. Hummus Tech. So that is it. This is Dr. Hummus Tech. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.